All right, moving out to the buffs. Looks like it's going to be a standard start. Nothing wrong has happened just yet.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Biscuit starts, Spell Thief over to Relic. A little bit of gold generation on both sides, but we'll see if Bubba tries to get himself aggressive. He's always trying to hit early Dark Bindings. At least start off Robert with a safer lane by putting the aggression down first.
Yeah, we also want to note that the deep ward on the blue buff there for for complexity. Ackerman back to his old ways because he doesn't want to get that early poke and talked about from Nidalee early. But yeah, the deep ward on that blue buff. Ooh, Braum passive proc on both members here already. Talked about the power of Kog'Maw and Braum in lane. They get a nice early jump here. When Tristan is not able to push this Braum lane in, then that's a pretty big win for LMQ. Because Tristana has great pushing power, and that's one of Braum's weaknesses.
Ooh. If he can get under the turret, it's going to be even harder for Robert X. Lee. You can see him cautiously auto-attacking constantly, help to keep that lane push.
Yeah, the early CS is always a little difficult with Tristana just because the explosive shot sometimes it puts you in a less than ideal situation with the minion health and you lose a couple, but it's even worse under the turret. We do have to mention though, over there when we were taking a look at Kez, he was trying to get the small minions for that red buff in a line so his Q will hit all three at the same time. But he did fumble it a little bit.
He's making moves.
Yeah, we'll
These are the early wards we were talking about. High value, low risk, can't be seen. Complexity, wow with the vote, 62 to 38. That was a 70% vote, I believe, for LMQ coming into this game. See how it happens in mid lane. Probably working the mana bar very well here.
Yeah, it's actually something that's very important against Xerath. If you can use Orianna to zone Xerath from getting his auto attacks down, one of the biggest points of playing Xerath is making sure you get your auto attack every time your passive is up, because if you don't, then you do have mana problems. So you'll see really strong Xerath players, they'll always find some way to get their passive proc off, auto attacking hopefully a champion, but minions work as well. Every time it's off cooldown. But if you can zone him like this, like Prolly's doing, then you can get him to have some mana problems early on.
All right, so we'll see what Xiao can continue to do here against Prolly in the mid lane. CS quite even. But Prolly's not going to be seeing any ganks from Kez, so he has to keep that for himself. Kez is going to be keeping No Name down, or at least being as sure that he's as big as No Name when he tries to hop out of the jungle the first time. Still that 300 gold lead coming in for Complexity. Robert X. Lee and Bubba in a little bit better of a position here with the wards to stay in the face of Vasily, but these guys are still just having a blast, I guess, the bottom lane.
Yeah, the joke spam is the universal language. No matter what language you speak, everybody knows what Vasily's going for here. Vision from both junglers, heavy priority, as we said. They both have the pink wards, but No Name with the early sweeper start.
Oh, the flash in. Kez a little bit miscommunication there with Prolly. Looks like they will take a little bit of damage on the exit there. But Xiao still with the flash in mid now knows he's a bit safer because Kez blew his on that turn.
Yeah, and Rengar's doing a good job farming up so far. Already got the Madreds completed.
Whoa! Whoa! The burn! It burns! Oh, it's burning!
Oh!
He goes down! Prolly with the fast first blood!
Prolly with the solo first blood. So rarely do we see solo plays being made, but Prolly comes up huge against Xiao, who right now is actually dropped down. He's got the second most CS at 10. Kez though coming in for another early action here from Complexity.
He's not done. See the flash in the top lane?
Yeah, Westrice not able to get that mark onto Ackerman to follow up.
That was big,
with
though.
the long-range pounds.
Very nicely done. Kez blowing the flash in mid, able to blow a flash in the top lane. These are the small advantages that Complexity looks to grab. Can they get it now to Robert X. Lee's lane? It's 42 to 39, so pretty even throughout that duo.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this mid lane here, because if Prolly can get the large lead early over Xiao, he can definitely continue with that zoning we were talking about. And when you zone Xerath, you force him to use so much of his mana on the creeps just to get CS, plus you deny him the auto attacks for his passive. And it takes away so much of the mid lane power that's really important with controlling the early jungle. which both of these teams have been relying on. Deep wards, though, inside the camp.
Right there, yep.
The best thing to do against Evelynn. Kez immediately going to get rid of that, though.
Yeah, quick sweeper out. Wow. Max range. The length of that stun coming in from Xerath, definitely dependent on the range of it.
Probably going to defend his pink ward here, though. Doesn't want to let Xiao even get back to the minions. He's going to lose out some experience here, too, even though the range was increased.
Yeah.
If you go all the way around that corner, then you do lose out on the experience. Westrice takes out the pink ward really early. So that opens up Ackerman to more Evelynn ganks. That pink ward tax that we always talk about, hitting LMQ pretty hard early.
No name knowing he can just kind of wait around in the jungle. That 6 very close for him, as we saw in his experience bar. He's just going through the jungle as he stacked up, not stacked up, but grabbed that Madrid to get through it a little bit faster. 7.5 on the clock. Probably's first blood is really the only thing that hasn't been reacted to yet by Xiao and team. Now level 6 no name, we may see a buy before he tries to get a gank out here.
Yeah, the other thing you want to look for when you're expecting a Rengar gank is the full ferocity stacked up. Yeah, he's just going for the check there.
Just maybe kinda, but not really.
But it's already been taken. Yeah, you want to see Rengar stack up full ferocity in the jungle before he goes for his gank, so he can get off 2 empowered abilities when he does go for it.
So now Complexity has a bit of an idea. Rengar's on the top side, giving blue to Xiao. They've pinged it out, so this is a bit more control here for Complexity. I don't think they're going to be able to use it, but that safety in lane allows them to maybe set something up here. We can see that probably he's just going back to farm wraiths, make things easy for themselves, and try to get a bigger lead. 72 to 66 there. It's not very often we see Xiao down in CS coming up on the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was a little bit of a gank from Kez early on to burn the heal. Uh-oh, Vasily gets hit.
That's a very nice Soul Shackle. He gets a double lockdown. Bubbida puts himself in the right spot. Beautifully done. Icathian surprise, no return on damage.
Great job by Complexity using that level 6 all in. Robert has been the hero when it comes to Complexity wins. Rengar mid, though.
It's going to be a good gank. Probably could have got himself caught out here. The shockwave goes down, but it's not going to be enough to thwart.
Oh,
what a close-in! Westrice already with the rotation from top lane. Complexity 3 steps ahead.
Oh, Complexity coming up huge in the early game. That should be Dragon for them because they simultaneously got kills bottom and mid. Huge early swing of power here. Now this is a very dangerous gank. Should almost always be a guaranteed kill because Rengar can root his target for the easy long range stun from Xerath. But man, the collapse from Complexity was already in the works.
Great flash by Westrice and movement by the team to keep those kills going, and both coming in. Now Dragon at 10 minutes over to them. We'll see if LMQ can answer with anything. Complexity getting that early lead, they already extended.
Man, the point I was going to make about that level 6 all-in bottom from Complexity is that there's a huge boost in power for all-ins for Tristan and Morgana lane when they hit level 6, whereas Kog'Maw, his boost in power comes from harass that he'll be able to do in lane with his level 6. And so Complexity wastes no time. They jump on literally as soon as they get their level 6. To go for the burst, and don't let Kog'Maw poke them down. Because once he gets that level 6, you heard Sneaky talk about it, it's so beastly in range.
Yeah.
The extra harass.
Just the ability to apply both Bio-Arcane and Living Artillery. But it's not going to be very good if it's going to be a Robert Exley at 18 first. He'll be able to just walk up and get a few shots in. 91 to 75 CS.
Rengar 2.
The top lane, Westrice playing very safe. He already has the alert. He gets out safely. He should be all right. Wait, the ultimate. No, the explosive cast puts him back in range. He's got 300 and just about 10 health. He can't get over the wall. The hit comes in. They get the bola. It just misses. Actually, it hits him, but not on full charge. The teleport out. 1, 2, 3. Oh my, wait a minute. Ackerman. What? Oh man.
That's why when you check bushes, you always attack move the bush.
Just action.
Never just right-click in the bush or else you won't attack your
Even more action. What? Another. back and forth.
Yeah.
That's a good missed kills going down everywhere, but everybody's wanting more, which is cool. The action's not going to be stopping anytime soon.
Well, we're looking for all that early action between these two teams. As you said, Complexity have been a team that goes over and over back to this strong early game. And LMQ have shown so many times that they love playing aggressively in the early game. Great clash between these two. And it's the bottom team that's already looking like they have the advantage here. Complexity, though, so many times, even with early leads.
Yeah. I like it.
Games kind of drag out really, really long.
And these games are going to be all about damage, too, Kobe. Look at the top laners. Got Sheens coming out for both buys on first. It's going to be all-out war in every lane. I like it.
So Ackerman, I'll be very curious to see if he actually rushes the Lichbane completion or if he goes with a second ability item in between Sheen and Lichbane. Looks like he is rushing that Lichbane that has become so common. I really do think that there's value in just going Sheen into the Zanyas and then completing Lichbane, because Lichbane scales really well, but the upfront ability power from it, not the biggest gain.
So far in lane, with a little bit of help that Westrice has gotten, he has capitalized 1-0-1 for himself, as well as the roam mid. See if he can keep it up on Ackerman's Gragas. That has been a scary, scary thing in late game, and that's what both teams are looking for. We still have a long story to go here. 13 minutes in, 2,500 gold in favor of Complexity.
The thing is, yeah, we say like Complexity, they always like these late games, and they found so many other wins in the super late game against top teams, but they shouldn't be looking for that. Right now, they have an early lead.
Of course.
And they should actually work on trying to snowball leads and close games out.
That's the
TP
jump.
bottom.
He still has a flash. He can get over the wall. Actually, his flash is down. They're going to be going on Bubba here, and that's a very nice attack. Kez tries to come in. No Name's already on the outside. He sees it. The Buster shot backwards, but they may be able to chomp down on Kez still. He goes down. No Name gets a piece of that as he's forced to walk out after the danger subsides. Minute 50 on to Dragon.
Key there is coordinated aggression from LMQ. Teleport with Rengar gank both at the same time. So even though Kez is in the area, they aren't able to answer, and there's just a massacre of wards in the bottom mid bush.
Hopefully Westrice can get this turret in the top lane. They only lost kills. They didn't lose Dragon. And he'll be able to create the pressure that might hold Ackerman in a good spot so that Complexity can start to put the pieces in order. Start grabbing buffs now. And that Dragon, the second one, if they could get it in their favor.
Yeah, even though that was great coordinated move from LMQ, they only got kills out of it. There wasn't a tower taken down. There wasn't a Dragon to pick up after this.
Teleport used.
So Robert jumps out of the way, and Bubba uses the Black Shield on him at the same time. So that's unfortunate for Bubba. He had nothing to save himself. But here's the follow-up. No Name, so dangerously close to going down. He also gets a heal from Vasily here, which saves his life long enough to get the kill for Dangerous Game as well.
Trying to look at the builds. Robert has actually changed his this time, not finishing the Static Shiv. Puts a BF sword already within that damage, maybe to kind of trade off and max what Kog'Maw can put out at that level 6. 30 on Dragon, and Ackerman's going to be staying up here for the turret. He might be able to walk down after this unless he continues to pressure. Looks like he's going to be heading right for it.
He is able to answer the turret that it did cost him to go down bottom. However, that teleport's still going to be on cooldown, and Westrice just came back up. So now Nidalee can be in her element. Nidalee loves to split push. Westrice can stay up there, split push, and then use his teleport advantage to gain some sort of map pressure for Complexity as they posture around Dragon while Nidalee is split pushing. So Complexity will slowly get more and more map pressure if they're able to just occupy LMQ's time here and poke them and keep up the vision for long enough. Really, they're just trying to buy time for Westrice to slowly increase their lead. That means for LMQ, though, they need to force something.
Oh! He body slams him during rocket jump! What a hit from Ackerman, making plays around the map. And Westrice is going to be forced to use his teleport, and what looks like the fight has already ended for Complexity. No Name wants to get back in. The Living Artillery, along with the shots from Xerath, not enough. It's just going to leave Westrice about 200 HP for a Primal Surge. He'll heal himself up and be safe with that sustain. Good fight from LMQ. They're posturing now for that dragon again.
That's the tricky part. When you do have the split push advantage, you really need to rely on your 4-man squad to not get caught. And LMQ do a great job of forcing it. They just have so many options to force the issue with complexity. So much CC, and they use the Braum and Gragas to great effect there, earning themselves the dragon, even though complexity had that teleport advantage.
And just when you think you get away, you get 2 artillery fires falling on your head. Kog'Maw and Xerath. What a composition if you're trying to escape.
Yeah, that's the long range that we were talking about. So much long range damage from LMQ. They're running a team full of snipers. So it's pretty much the worst situation for complexity for their 4-man squad. They really have to be on top of the black shields and on top of their skill shot dodging abilities if they want to play this game with Nidalee.
So just looking around, taking stock of inventories. Cooldown Rengar, No Name puts up the Brutalizer. We'll see a little bit more of that coming into play against the Lizard of Kez. He's had that finish for a while, and he focuses on some magic resistance next. But these two in the top lane, you see the Triforce and the Lichbane already completed as they start duking it out just a little bit.
And here it is, the aggression from Westprice. Going to force Ackerman back. Ackerman can only get the advantage if he gets the jump on Westprice. Gets into melee range. I really do like the change to Gragas where he has to actually put himself at risk now to do the large burst. He still has the large burst, but you actually have to get into melee range to use it. Maybe he needs a couple tweaks though. He's a little bit strong at the moment.
I don't know what you're saying, Kobe.
Maybe the AoE aspect of it needs to be taken down a notch. We'll see though. Bounce team is on it, I'm sure.
LMQ soaking up resources on their side of the map. Doesn't look like they have any pressure for complexity at this moment. No wards either. Everything's on their side. As they are down 2,000 gold, they haven't really been the one to make the offensive move. That mid lane aggression was kind of just the back and forth of the poke they're able to bring to the table, and then they got the advantage. You see complexity still trying to get in their jungle and still trying to make advantages.
Trying to keep that deep vision down. Bumped up does get it in the bush, but immediately cleared out by LMQ. They've got 3 sweepers now and already the scrying orb as well for Xiao. I like the pickup here. Usually it's an 80 carry to get it, but Xerath can use it as well to go for those snipes. If someone gets into the fog of war and thinks they're safe, we may see Xiao with one of those long-range surprise artillery kills.
I'm going to see. We've seen some good snipes, and we've seen some maybe his eyes were closed snipes.
Here goes
from the
one
EU
for the blue buff
to the
again.
NA LCS. Pretty good so far coming from Xiao. Doesn't have to use the orb on that one, and it's down.
That definitely left something to be desired there. Because, as we said, complexity have a lot of shields to use.
That's true.
So timing's
got to be remembered. You only have a small window. It's just the all-out battle now, Kobe. Nobody wants to go anywhere. It's the mid turret next, it appears.
All right, let's see here, because there is no teleport for Westprice, so they don't really have that option. Even if they wanted to go back to that style and think that they have a better chance of dodging this time, they don't have the teleport. And it's very risky for Westprice to be on his own. Since Vasili's down here, though, he knows his team will not be collapsed on. And Vasili, by the way, on that Kog'Maw, going with the Blade of the Ruined King first actually does help him if he was in the situation where he had to 1v1 with Westprice, to give him that extra disengage, since Nidalee will be closing the gap.
Nice shots coming in. Look at the CS here, 201 to 190 in that mid lane, right on the backside, bubbed up. Looks like he got caught up on some minions. They may have gone for a dark binding there, but the rest of the team just putting and applying a bit more pressure. Item threshold for the 80 carries, just about an infinity edge here for Robert X. Lee. And just about a static shiv, possibly, or that Phantom Dancer coming up for Vasili.
All right, let's see if Vasili can bait in Westprice and then have a no-name gank come in. Westprice, that always has to be in the back of his mind. Anytime there is a Rengar on the team, it makes a split pusher's job much, much more difficult.
Scary.
This deep ward, though, might... Oh, No Name gets right around the vision of that ward. Sneaky, sneaky No Name. They are doing a really good job of setting up this bait. Vasili looks juicy for Westprice, but he's not taking the bait. Westprice has become such... He's been for a very, very long time, years and years, known as one of the most aggressive top laners, and he would just always split push and not really even care about ganks. He'd just deal with the gank when it showed up, and he'd try and outplay them. However, in recent times, he's been playing much more safe, and he's been much more cautious, and it's really paid off for Complexity. It's turned the team really around, I think.
It's a hard thing to do. Remember him on Akali and whatnot. Everything he played kind of put him in that aggressive mentality. So.
And he knows, yes, I have the power. I know I can take this Kog'Maw, but it's not worth the risk of the Rengar counter gank.
Good
patience. So he wastes a lot of No-Name's time there.
2-1 only in turrets. With all the commotion we've had in the game, it's really just been each other's throats instead of the structures. The Zanyas will be second coming in for Ackerman. Using the top lane without any pressure right now. He's just having a ball. And he gets another wave to the turret. Top turret's going to be going down for him. Lichbane assisting in that. We'll see if he can keep it rolling. He is not getting any pressure from what's a teleport to come in from Westrice. Stuck in the bottom lane from Vasily before he gets away. Great pressure in. LMQ now is getting themselves a lead on this one. He's now on the inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, let's see what's their answer for this split pushing Gragas, because he's got a Lichbane. He's going to take that inhibitor turret down very quick. Westrice is recalling right now, but there is going to be a pretty big chunk out of that top side.
Looks like Westrice will get there in time. Yeah, it's not going to be too much damage. That will heal up, but Ackerman now still teleport up. Doesn't look like they'll be able to get there first, but Dragon is definitely a possibility here, and the game could go in their favor after this. Big fight without Westrice could be huge.
Yeah, nobody wants to get in a 5 vs 4 situation in a game that's this close. There's so much damage on both teams. Anyone out of position will go down really quickly. And Complexity don't even want to fight this one because they don't have Westrice near. It's the pick potential for both of these teams is actually quite large.
LMQ feels like they can take a little bit of ground, and they
Man,
do.
What the Complexity completely out of sorts here. They just give up 2 objectives.
And mid.
Back to back.
Oh, yeah, right. That's huge. Dragon and 2 turrets now going in the favor of LMQ. Complexity seems to have been snoozing for a little bit there. Way too complacent with the lead that they had, and they have been taken by storm. Turrets are tied up. Gold is just about the same, and Kez looking to make a play, and this is desperation for Complexity now.
Complexity, what they're looking for is the Evelynn flank into the Orianna Shockwave, but LMQ are very well aware that that is the only really engage from Complexity, their only option. So they're warding up the sides. They have 1 defensive pink ward over on the Baron side, so they know he's not going to come from that side. But you can see they all want to spread out. All that LMQ really need to do is make sure they don't clump up. Xiao and Vasily specifically do not want to stand together for that Evelynn and Ori combo.
Very interesting.
Kez keeps looking for it, though. I have to say, even though LMQ have evened up the gold, they haven't gone back to buy after that Dragon and that mid turret, so they might want to go purchase before they actually pick the fight. Because, yeah, they evened up the gold. Oh, actually, probably sitting on 2,400 gold right now.
And Bump It Up goes down. He's sitting on 1,100. Kez goes down as well. LMQ dances this one out until they get the kills and the fight that they want. Ackerman throws that one just a little bit short.
Yeah, how did that pick from the side even? That was a Rengar gank, I guess. No name. There's no other way he would have just caught Bubba blind like that. Man, takes him down so quickly. That support Morgana has no armor and very little health. Very easy for damage Rengar to take out, since he does have Brutalizer at least.
Something that LMQ is really good at capitalizing on.
Let's take a look. Oh, Lord sets it up into the... Woo!
Bye-bye.
No chance. And then he's in the bush as well, so they get the jump onto Kez. Complexity, for the last maybe 5 minutes, just look out of sorts.
Yeah.
They kind of lost their way here. They didn't have a game plan in around this 20-minute mark. They gave up 2 objectives, and then they just kind of milled around in the mid lane until they got picked off. Not a clear plan for them as far as the mid game goes, and that's what we've seen so many times from them. Their early game, methodical. It looks great. You know, they get the side kills, they get the picks, they get the dragon control, and they seem to come out with these really early leads a lot. But then they always lose it in the mid game, and the game just ends up going extremely long, and they can't really finish or capitalize on any sort of early lead that they've gotten. We'll see though. They do have Tristana with a 2-item power spike here. Shiv plus Infinity Edge now completed.
Yep, a little bit of her own sustain. Ackerman's been doing a good job at cleaning back up and finally get these guys back to a split push. If they can even make it happen. Looking for Westrice here, coming out of the base. He still has teleport up. LMQ feels like they are in the driver's seat now, and rightfully so. They made such a move recently on Complexity. Usually Complexity is the one, like we said, once they get that advantage, the other team kind of puts themselves in a pressure situation. Robert will pick up a few more kills at a Dragon, but LMQ is now avoiding Complexity.
Oh, here comes the flank, though. They're looking for it once again. The 4-man squad's got to worry. Ackerman, see, LMQ do a good job. They call him right up. They can sense that Kez is coming around the side. They call Ackerman over. This will be a 4 versus 5, actually. Complexity start off the 4v5.
There's the Blade of the Rune King. He still has to use it. Kez gets taken down immediately. Vasily with the fast fingers and the help of his teammates on that. Bubadub's going to be going down on this. And LMQ, like I said, they are avoiding Complexity until Complexity steps up to the fight. And then they use all of this to take down the fight. Ackerman still in range, gets the Q slow, and they are going to get another kill over to Vasily. What a great way to fight from LMQ.
Well, it was just the difference in communication between the two teams. Complexity, Westrice was down bottom, and Ackerman left the lane, but he didn't make the call. And Complexity engaged at 4v5. Ackerman very quick on that Gragas to make his way all the way up mid. And so Ackerman there for the beginning of the fight, while Westrice had to run and follow, made a huge difference.
28-minute Baron. First place LMQ, showing why. High caliber amount of play. And they're just waiting. They all group mid, and when they start fighting, they lay down the wards to win the fight. And the rest of it is history.
Yeah, I mean, you do get Westrice coming in eventually, but Ackerman was there for the beginning. Evelyn saw Kog'Maw. There's a reason that people are picking Kog'Maw so often now. Uh-oh, let's see the flash. Was gonna hit. Kog'Maw, even if people like Twitch or Evelyn open up on Kog'Maw, he deals so much damage if you stand there right next to him and give him a free Q and E to land on you, that he can just stand toe-to-toe with a lot of these quote-unquote assassins that come up to him invisible. And he does not run away, especially with this Blade of the Ruined King build where he's got the extra passive that he can activate when somebody pops out on him.
Yeah. A lot of people don't take into consideration not that it would be leveled up too much yet, but that passive Q speed definitely takes control in a fight. You already stacked Static Shiv and Blade on.
The shred from the active cannot be overstated. It is huge in those 1v1 situations.
He's back and looks like he's got some gold to spend, possibly a lot closer to an Infinity Edge or that after a huge kill lead coming in. And that is the Infinity Edge for Kog'Maw. He spikes over Robert actually quite hard here, but we'll see what they have as they go back. See it. Haunting guys for Prolly here in the Orianna build. Very interesting.
Yeah, going for that flat spell penetration because he's really looking for the shockwaves onto priority targets. So if he gets the carries, either Gragas, Xerath, or Kog'Maw, flat penetration, really, really effective. And he's just banking a lot on the fact that he can get a good shockwave on the priority targets that don't have magic resist. Because that's what Complexity are going to need to turn this game around, honestly. They are in a very, very tough spot.
Yeah.
It would have to be a really, really good shockwave to turn the game around for them.
Well, they're really trying to war this up, Kobe. They have a lot of the vision necessary to make the moves, but LMQ is just so fast to react every time. It makes it look like there's no possible entry.
Yeah, LMQ, they haven't spent a lot of money on wards, but look at their hyper carries here. The Kog'Maw's got an extra item over Tristana right now. A whole Blade of the Ruined King lead is massive for LMQ. And the little bit of vision that they do have is covering pretty much everything that they actually need right now. Since Baron's off the map, Dragon's off the map, they don't really have to worry about controlling anything besides blue buff. If they keep that away from Orianna, it allows them to shove in on the turrets. Probably's already wearing it though, so they'll have to wait for a respawn.
See how far back Complexity stands from that turret. It's really where LMQ's composition excels once they get up to that point. Well,
they can't
also
fight without Robert, definitely. So this is definitely a trade of turrets that they're banking on here. They're hoping that they can wave clear with that Ori, but it hasn't been enough.
Yeah. Well, Robert doesn't have any attention just yet. They don't have vision on Ackerman backing, so he may feel a bit scared in that spot. You will see Ackerman in a second.
Robert keeps pushing here.
Yep.
Whew. He knows what happened to double lift.
Ackerman just throws behind.
I've seen this before. Ackerman doesn't want to give up either. Gragas can take this chase.
Oh, man.
Oh!
What? What a throw!
Ackerman on the Gragas has been just destroying AD carries left and right. And that was yet another example where he gets to use the teleport to join the team after he gets a kill. Should be a huge win for LMQ here.
Yeah, losing your AD carry at that point in the game during the split push, not a good situation here for Complexity, and they're going to be losing an inhibitor right away. Last shot from Vasily comes in, and that's going to be 32 on the clock for the first inhibitor.
Yeah, and you can see in that gold graph the huge difference in the mid game there, where Complexity kind of stopped making the decisive calls, and LMQ just took several uncontested objectives. We'll see if this flank works out, though. Evelyn in the back. They've got no power left.
Bro, there's too much to dodge. He has to dive into death in one way or another. Kez tries to get himself out. He flashes. Definitely a suicide mission. Bubbadub's now focused as the kill. LMQ has taken the inhibitor first time and every time they've played Complexity, and it's only been a matter of 3 minutes after for them to win the game. They'll repeat history once again. They'll drop top inhib, and they'll be going for the Nexus turrets. Quadra kill for the Kotma.
And Vasily just sits in those double turrets after his quadra kill goes down. But it will be a victory for LMQ, and well-deserved.
Absolutely.
Great push on the mid game there.
Definitely something for Complexity to go back and look. The falter of the mid game is LMQ made sure to take advantage of that. They run it to 33 minutes, 15-7, and a 12,000 gold lead at the end from almost nothing. LMQ takes down Complexity in our first game of the week. I think that's one of the first times we've seen a team kind of recoup and figure out what Complexity is doing. How are they just taking our lanes down? But then again, we saw the early game not being a game of objectives. It was a game of champions. And LMQ, they know how to play the champion game. They'll dive you, they'll poke you, they'll kill you, and then they take a mile after getting that inch. They were able to turn that spark on after just one of those mid-fights and really take control of the game.
Yeah, really well executed, and we will probably never see Ackerman get Gragas again.
No.
Especially in his current form.
That'd be crazy. Even with a lost band.
Even with Nidalee laning against him, Westside's not able to put pressure on Gragas
and an early kill on him, or an early flash blown and then attack. Yeah.
Yeah, even with an Evelyn jungle and a Nidalee top lane, which is almost the most pressure that you could have in that top lane in a 1v1 matchup.